recession is already underway.
Recession indicator that's been true 3 times since the year 2000 is that there's a huge increase in people taking the LSAT and people going to law school.
What are the key recession indicators and what does that mean for you? Now, it means a little something different for everybody, but consumer prices are up, grocery prices are up, everyday cost, insurance, home ownership, all those costs are on the rise. And what does that mean? What are other people saying? I want you to watch this. Let me know what you think at the end, and let me know what you're seeing that other people might not be tracking.
Recession is already underway. Let me tell you some recession indicators. Rising unemployment. Black unemployment rates are skyrocketing. Youth joblessness is a huge recession indicator. Only top 10% of earners are who are spending in the economy. Huge federal budget deficit, 6% unemployment in Washington, D.C., 5.3 in California, 5.3 in Nevada. Stagflation, meaning no jobs are being created. We actually have only 0.98 jobs available for every person that's unemployed. Inflation of 2.9%, but that is expected to be 3.1% announced on Friday. Groceries are up 29%. Fruits and vegetables are up 38%. Economic instability. Extra tariffs, taxes of 10% to 147%. Home foreclosures are 18% higher than last year at this time. Auto repossessions are skyrocketing. Now we are on day 21, 22 of the government shutdown. These are huge economic indicators of a
living in is something else right now, because I just went to Costco and I just got back and I was given a free sample of Costco toilet paper. I'm not upset about it. That's part one. I'm not upset about it, but I also remember the lore on here, the past couple of months. Please remind me if I'm correct, that the Costco toilet paper was causing lint and dust and everything in people's houses. So she specifically wanted to tell me that this is their next level up toilet paper, and then it only ends up costing an extra 20 cents a roll, and was full on trying to sell me this upgraded Costco toilet paper. What?
Recession indicator just unlocked my eyebrow place that has had the same price as $10 to get your eyebrows started. Don't they look lovely? They do. Since 2018. I walk in today, you guys, $12.
I don't know if y'all old enough to remember the 80s, 80, 81, 82, but this feels just like that. And that was a recession, a bad recession. Oil prices were high, inflation was high, unemployment was high, spending was low. So domestic gross product was really low. People stopped buying, people were losing homes, losing jobs, and it turned into a recession. It was really bad in the grocery store. People were deciding whether to pay utilities or put food on the table. You know, nobody was really making money from their job. Their jobs were really low paying. And again, costs were high. So people were struggling. And that's what this feels like now. High oil prices, high grocery prices, high unemployment. Everything feels about the same. This feels just like a recession, but nobody is saying that. Everybody is claiming that the economy is great.
The biggest recession indicator is Facebook Marketplace. Tell me why you can't sell anything on there anymore. And this is coming from a Facebook Marketplace connoisseur. I'm so good at SEO. I'm so good at taking aesthetic pics. I'm a queen at it, okay? I quite literally sold my last apartment top to bottom on Facebook Marketplace. And I even had a waiting list for my bed frame so I could use it for a couple more months. I'm that good, okay? Now, literally 0 bites. I haven't used it in a while, but I had to sell an e-bike and our old couch. The old couch, it was West Elm 100% leather, and my e-bike was only 8 months old. Took weeks. Actually, the couch we just ended up putting on the curb. It was down to $100, by the way. Put on the curb. Somebody finally took it 2 days later. And then my e-bike, yeah, I eventually sold it, brand new, mind you, for 80% less than what I bought it for. I could have broken even with those items a year ago, 18 months ago, easily. And now I'm not even making half back. And I don't understand what's going on.
I found a new recession indicator. So most of y'all probably don't know, one of my hobbies is I find and repair vintage electronics and then turn around and flip it on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, stuff like that. Or sometimes if it's awesome, I keep it for myself. But, you know, one of the things that you need from time to clean it out to places you can't reach is keyboard duster, you know, compressed air. I ran by Kroger and I just couldn't find it. Like, there was an area that I used to just commonly grab it. It's been a while since I needed a can, but I feel like I remember it being somewhere between $3 and $5, maybe $6, you know? And I remember like 5 or 6 being kind of bent out of shape about it. So they just didn't have it. I'm like, what? That's weird. Like, they didn't even have a place for it. Like, all right, well, I guess I'll run down the street to CVS. $12. I mean, that's, you know, after tax and everything, but...
Okay, so my friend just texted me because she saw this listing on Zillow, and we live in Austin, okay? And they listed this house, 293 to 33, 4 bedroom, 3 baths. This is like around the corner from where I live. I pass by that house all the time when I walk the dogs. And she was like, oh my God, we should buy it. And I was like, holy crap, that's affordable. I can actually buy that house. Hold on. Here are the stipulations on that. This property is listed as a leasehold through Jubilee's joint purchase program, making home ownership more accessible with a lower entry cost. You buy the home while Jubilee buys the land, and it rents it back to you, heavily reducing upfront costs and keeping monthly expenses comparable to a traditional purchase. You can also buy the land back anytime. Alternatively, the property can be purchased outright for $799,000. Estimated land rent is $2,946 per month. Why? Tell me we're in a recession without telling me we're in a recession. Rent the land forever? What are you going to do? Buy the land? You might as well just buy the house. I know I sound angry. You know why? Because I am.
The Washington Post published this article which talks about which recession warning signs to watch, and the traditional ones like lipstick, right? Women traditionally would buy more lipstick during a recession because it's the one cosmetic that makes the most notable difference. So they would double down on that versus purchasing all these other products. But that is not the case anymore, where we're seeing that we're in indeed a recession, and that's where we're heading. If we're not there, is in data around ready-made cheap foods like Hamburger Helper. Like, people are gravitating towards these cheap, low-quality meals because groceries are just so damn expensive. And that is like one of the key differentiators between now and 2008, 2009. Yes, there's a lot of unemployed people. Yes, companies aren't hiring. Yes, things are tight. Credit is tight. But groceries back then were cheap. To eat was cheap because, yes, you could struggle, but you had at least the ability to load up on cheap food. If you deep dive into the data around grocery prices have increased 30% from 2020, and people are even using buy now, pay later terms to buy groceries to eat. How insane is that?
Now, I'm not saying that these are the only indicators, and far from it. You know, I understand the economic point of views behind it and what dictates a recession. But it is seeing a lot more people like this and seeing that the grocery prices are up, food stamps getting on hold, Thanksgiving coming down the line, pressure will be at an all-time high going into the end of the year. What does that mean for the start of 2026? I think that housing will again be low. The interest rates have not dropped yet, so less people are going to be spending. Also, a big factor is what I'm seeing a lot with the first-time home buyers is them needing 6% to close. Now, that's becoming much more common, and not a lot of sellers can afford to give away 6% just to cover closing costs to sell a house. So housing market will be down, continued into next year, but there are deals still to be had. Let me know what you guys are seeing. Let me know what you think the key indicators that people need to be watching are. Drop them below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.